Thank you very much for joining me. It's really good to see a crowd in here, which is great news. Oh, got to be careful where I move. Okay, I'll come down here, even better. Right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our world, our changing world. In fact, you're perfect because you're an example of what's happening to our world, which is great news for me. My name is Frazer Chesterman. I am co-founder of a business that run events, and I'm running a show in Amsterdam called Pure Digital, which I'll tell you a little bit about. But I'm here to talk a little bit around inspiration, and hopefully you'll all be inspired before you go for your lunch. I run several events, and I have run events for a few years. I run a big show you may have heard previously in the past called Vespa, and now my new one is this one here, which will be in Amsterdam. What we do is we always look for I guess niches, new opportunities, because actually what's interesting about printing is that it's quite commoditized. Now, hopefully you know what I mean by that. What I mean is that the printer there and the printer there and the printer there all do the same thing. They all do the same thing, pretty much. So actually, what's the difference between the print that's there, the print that's there and the print that's there? There isn't much. Typically then what happens is we end up in a price war because print is quite commoditized. So in any environment where that occurs, where you get things that are not very different in an open market, price becomes the issue. So what we look for is adding value, and hopefully solving problems. Now I was thinking, you're a kind of Twitter kind of world, aren't you guys? So I was thinking, what is it that we would say about the print world in a short statement? And I would say, print volumes falling, analog publishing falling, some digital growth. Packaging, it's good, it's up. There's some big regional differences. And you guys, you don't really like print. You like Twitter and tweeting and social media. So actually that's a struggle for the print industry who are here. And you, if there's a future. Now I guess most of you are what I would perceive as the creative type of people. And what I want to do is I want us as an industry to try and connect with people like you, the creatives. Because actually digital print, which is the technology that's around here, only represents quite a small part of the print industry, 3%. Because actually print, if I asked you what you thought of print, you'd think, oh, it's old-fashioned, it's boring, it's functional. But actually digital print is fast, flexible, and very, very creative. You'll see some of it here. When we talked to designers and said to them, what do you think about print? They said, we certainly don't attend printing shows because that's boring and it's got lots of machines that are very boring. But they do like to be inspired. Creative types like to be inspired, and they want help and they want expertise. And they want to certainly be competitive and offer something different, original and quick. And they like to respond to consumer needs. Hopefully you know what I mean by that. They want to learn, like you guys. So our mission is to help educate the creative market on what you can do creatively with digital print. Because actually doing that, educating these guys, will mean there's more business for these guys and these guys, which is good news. So today, my little session is about showing you how to adapt to the things that are occurring outside us, the big issues, the big challenges, and to get out there and excite the creatives. Now, I want to ask you a question, because I've done a lot of talking here. Who of you would like to be successful? Just raise your hands. Come on. Come on. Come on. Who would like to be successful? Yes, that's what I like to hear. We all want to be successful. I think there's two types of successful people in this world. They are the lucky ones who think they're very clever. Have you ever met those successful people who go, yeah, I'm very successful. I'm very successful. You go, no, you've been very lucky. And then there's the clever ones who truly are clever, who realise they've been lucky. Because to be successful, you do need a bit of luck. So can we make our own luck? I think we can. If we were running a business, if you guys were running your business, you'd be looking at markets, you'd be looking at potential growth, and you'd be looking for new ideas and inspiration. But I'm going to tell you today, we have to think differently. You guys have to think differently. You're here, which is great, because you're here to learn. But we have to think differently. Because if you do what you've always done, does anyone know this statement? Do what you've always done. Does anyone know this? It's possibly the same in Belgium, France, Flemish. You get what you always got. Do you understand this? Yeah, cool. Do you understand this? If you do what you've always done, like clean your teeth this way, you'll only ever clean your teeth this way. If you want to do something different, bigger, more exciting, you have to step out of your comfort zone. And I'm going to make you do that now. So, stand up. All of you, stand up. And I want the back 2 rows to go out there where that gentleman is there, and I want everyone else to turn around and watch what happens. Right, the back 2 rows, you guys come out here. You guys are the audience now, okay? Come and hang with me out here. Come on, hang out here. Come on. Okay. Just hang around. That's enough. That's good enough. That's perfect. Now, you've virtually done it for me already, but I'd like you to make a circle together as a group. Make a circle together. Now you watch. A circle, not a semicircle, a complete circle. Do we have circles in Belgium? Do we? Sometimes. Very good. That's not bad, is it? Okay, you were quite good at this when you understood what I was saying. Now, I'd like you to do a square, okay? A square. A square. Yep, very good. Okay, they're getting quite good at this, aren't they? They're pretty good. Now, I think as you're so bloody good now, I'd like you in 1 minute as a group, okay, to make a star, okay? A star. You have 1 minute starting now. Now. Come on, come on. It's good. Start. A star. You know what I mean by a star? You know what I mean by a star? Good. That is not a star, is it? That is just a mess. Yeah? Okay. Come on, guys. A star. Come on, work a bit harder. Are you in the gang? yeah, okay. You're the point. She was good. She was doing a point there. Come on, where are you? Are you a point? Come on. Is that it? Are you happy as a group that that's your star? Do you want to do any shaping up? You've got 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Come on, guys. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finish. Give them a round of applause. Come and sit down, guys. Come and sit down. Thank you. You're the audience. You watched what happened. I'm going to ask you the questions. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump you there. Okay. Come and sit down. Very good. Got to be honest with you. What did you think? Did you think that was a good star? No. I've got to be honest with you. It wasn't the worst star that I've ever seen, even. Now, you're all from Belgium, correct? The best ever in the world was Mexico. All men. I just said, can you do a star? They just all held hands and just formed this fantastic star leaning back. And it was the best I've ever seen. So anyway, first thing, the circle, what happened? What happened with the circle? What was going on with the circle? It was really easy, wasn't it? Everyone actually, when you ask people to stand out there, they kind of form a circle. You already formed half a circle. That's the way you behave. You kind of come into a circle format, get people to do a square, a little bit more tricky. What was the difference with the star? What happened? What did you hear? What did you see? Tell me. They didn't know the points, okay. Anything else? Tell me. Did you see them talking to each other? Well, they did. They did talk to each other. Did you talk to each other? Was there a bit of leadership? Where's he gone? That man over there, where's he gone? There was a leader somewhere. There. Did you not see the leader? He was telling you where to go. So you had to talk to each other. You had to communicate with each other. You had to think a little bit. You had to kind of test out ideas. I put you under a bit of pressure, which was time. So you had to think a bit differently. So actually, even though it wasn't the best star, it was quite a good star. And you worked quite quickly. So it was good. Now, the point I'm making here is that if you want to do something more difficult, like a star, you have to work at it. If you want a different outcome, from the circle, you have to do things differently. You have to think differently. You have to work together. That involves leadership, conversation, trust, discussion, thought. That's about doing things that are difficult. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because the world that we live in, the world you guys live in, means that the new reality is you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Can any of you do that, by the way? That's not me. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about the big trends, because it's worth us knowing what you face in the world as the big trends. Number one, changes in consumer behaviour. Anyone in the audience alive in the 1980s? Just put your hands up. Yeah, yeah. Not many of you. Back in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, we, when we were alive in those days, used to buy this way. We used to buy with our brain. We used to buy on the basic physical need, about practicality, about comfort, about common sense. You guys, the modern people in the world, buy like this, about experience, about personal identity, about esteem, about what it means for you, about experience. That means that when you're selling to young people, and to us now, because we've changed our behaviour, you need to think differently about the way you address the market. This is the world you live in. Individual self-expression, the growth of the craft business, rise of localisation, dislike of mass production, dislike and resentment of the establishment. Do we see that in America at all? Yeah? So the world has changed, and the world is always going to change quicker now. We're at a crossroads. This means we're at a crossroads in terms of consumers. Consumers like things bought online, and creatives like to buy, they like to place advertising online rather than place it on print, because actually they believe that you guys like it. Creatives also like personalisation, like to be delivering stuff that's for you, for you, for you, for you. Personalised product, much more personalised. We as consumers like more convenient and more regular now. There used to be a time when we all went to big supermarkets. Now we like to go to small supermarkets. It kind of goes round in a circle. We like to add value. This is now the best place to advertise your brand. So if any of you were in control of a marketing budget for a product in a supermarket, forget about the signs that are up here. They're rubbish. They're rubbish. This is the sign you want. Anyone know why? Why do you think that has become the sign that everyone wants? You want to answer? I know you want to answer.
Because we're always watching down.
Exactly. So you guys and me walk into the supermarket going like this. What did my wife tell me I needed to buy? And that's what we're doing. And so that becomes the standout place to advertise. And then brands are recognizing that they don't talk about the fact they're a hotel, they talk about the fact they're an experience. They don't talk about the fact they're an airline, they talk about an experience. Because that's what you want. And we are really critical. And therefore, if you're a hotel or a bar or a restaurant, you need to tune in to the fact that you guys will comment about a hotel. I hope none of you have been to this hotel. The place smells very bad. Staff have beards and long hair. Personally, that puts me off. It also stinks of old fish, and that will ruin your appetite. It's overpriced for what they bring, and the decor is okay, but the staff come with a roast beef or twist beef arrogance. I honestly don't know what twist boff arrogance is. Sounds French to me. Is it? No. I think it's this. But the point about this is, you don't want this if you're a hotel, do you? So you've got to be really tuned into the experience that you deliver if you run a hotel. Now this is all good. All the stuff I talked about is great for printing, because that means personalisation, what I talked about, that can be done by printing. Convenience, immediacy, that can be done by printing. Value, short run, different options, that can be done by printing. Creating an experience, that can be done by printing. Do you know what this word means? Anyone know what this word means? The top thing for brand owners now is what is known as haptic. It means the touch, the feel. So what's really interesting now is that agencies are saying, if we can get the product to feel good, that's what they want. Haptic technology. And again, print can do that. You can print a surface that feels good because it's really important to brands. And then changing environment, and as I said, hotels and all that. So here's my favourite, ultimate personalised product. Anyone seen this? This is known as a selfie chino. Has anyone done this? A selfie chino? I like that. That is the ultimate in personalisation. Obviously, I don't know who this guy is, but... So, ageing population. I like this one because it's going to be about you guys. How many of you are under the age? Are you 18 or 19? Just tell me roughly. 19, 20? 20, 21, right. The brilliant thing for you guys is the likelihood for you is that you will live, 50% of you, let's take, not you guys, not you lot, but you lot are going to live to the age of 100. I've just told you that. Don't ring me up and say, I didn't, I died. 50% are going to live to the age of 100. Your life expectancy as a group is 98. Not you, sir. You and me, we missed the boat. This is amazing, isn't it? You will live to the age of 100. 50% of you, not you guys, you. That means you will have multi-stage lives, very, very different from the life that we led, the life that the older guys and older ladies here led. It will be much more about this. Multi-stage. You will learn, you will work, you will learn, you will work, you will learn, you will work. We went to school, went to work, retired. 3 stages. You will multi-stage. And when you get to 100, actually this is now. What's interesting is people are living longer, all of us. And there's a lot of money in that. There's a lot of money in the grey euro. Older people are mentally and physically fitter than ever before. They're cooler and they're more cosmopolitan. So if you're marketeers, think about the grey, we talk about the grey pound, you talk about the grey euro. It's a great opportunity. It's just changing world we live in. Big trends. You guys will be much more mobile than us. You will typically spend more time on the road. So places like airports will be where you buy. It's likely that you will shop on the go, where you do it already, because you'll be more mobile. Mobility of millennials. Urbanisation, we're going to all become more urban. And what does that mean? Less housing. So that means houses will become smaller. And as a print opportunity, you'll have to make the space you live in look better, look bigger. Digitalisation. It's a very, very crowded world. We all know this. We're all affected by the internet. We spend 10 hours, you lot, 10 hours a day. I might spend 10 hours a day on screen. You'll be at least 15 hours a day on screen. Checking your phone every 3 minutes. You've been very good. All of you have been very good. But that's typical timing. You're exposed to over 4,000 to 10,000 adverts a day. That's just crazy, isn't it? That's just crazy. Such a lot of clutter and confusion. So how, if you're an advertiser printing something, how do you get through that? In the 50s, this was the amount of advertising that was out there. This was the amount you could cope with. It was pretty much the same. Now, this is the amount of advertising that's out there. This is the amount you can cope with. There's a bloody big gap between the two. You need to make sure if you're doing some advertising, it goes here. It's in the bit that sticks. That's important. It's the bit that sticks. And you do that by creating trust, creating content. So if you go off and become a marketeer at a craft brewery, which all of you will do, I know, you will be thinking about producing content about craft beer that's interesting, and that will give people some value. And then they have a relationship with you, which is important. They don't think about buying. What you become is you become a curator of knowledge. And that's what you want in the future. And print can be very sticky. It can stick. Print sticks better than social media. If you deliver a really strong message in print, it stays with you. It has a far longer lifespan, far better than social media. So how do we respond to these mega changes? Technically, I don't want to bore you with this because you won't be excited by it. Digitally print technology, heads, improvements in droplets, it's not that exciting. But basically, digital print technology has improved dramatically. I'm just going to tell you that. And the advantage of that means you can do things quicker, you don't have stock, you have freedom of design. I'm not going to bore you with this because I can tell you guys are not that excited. But basically, there are lots of opportunities for digital print. But they're not in the traditional printing markets. They're not in the traditional graphics markets. They're in things like 3D, functional inkjet, furnishings, laminates, flooring, wall covering, decor. Go to the stand here, the stand that's in here, the Canon stand, you will see what you can do with digital. Everything from posters to flooring to walling, that's the future. If nothing else, take that with you. That's the future. So how do we get the creative guys to really understand what we can do? The area that's really interesting for creative people is decor. So as I say, go to the Canon stand. They've got a lot of decor on show. I don't want to bore you with this. There are 3 elements that I really think we should look at: packaging, personalised product, and interior decor. You know about the Share a Coke campaign. I won't tell you too much on that. But what I want to share with you at the end is this. Online used to be, everyone said online, got to go online, got to do that. If you talk to the big CEOs, Unilever, Nike, they're already saying they won't be putting all their budgets into online anymore. Because actually we're returning to, we like old-fashioned things, vintage. We've gone backwards a bit, and this is important. We don't always look forwards, we look back sometimes. I'm not going to tell you this. I just want to finish with a bit about innovation. All the people here, absolutely everyone here, should be innovating in their businesses. You guys should always think as innovators. You should try and come up with new ideas all the time. Talk to each other, discuss it, share it, think it. Innovation as a concept is this: creativity times risk. But what we mean by that is the willingness to adopt new ideas, to tweak and disrupt, to fail fast, adapt and learn. Don't fear getting things wrong. The best innovators always get things wrong. Always. They never get to being super successful without fucking it up. You have to get things wrong to become successful. Bear that in mind. Don't work for an organisation that doesn't allow you to do that. If the organisation you work for doesn't allow you to make mistakes, it ain't worth working for. They're not an innovating company. If you look at the innovators of the world, the new innovators, they typically didn't innovate in dramatic terms. They just tweaked. They took a good idea and recombined the elements in a new way. Airbnb, Uber. Uber weren't creating a new cab company. They were just thinking slightly differently about the approach. Nespresso. Anyone know Nespresso, ladies? Do you know who the famous guy who's related to Nespresso? Who is he? Come on. George Clooney. It's amazing how many women know that. None of the guys going, don't know what you're on about. George Clooney, exactly, right. Well, this was a great innovation. Fantastic innovation, new product. George Clooney's branded it, it's great. Actually, the guy who invented it was a Swiss guy called Eric Favre in 1976. Not that exciting, not that good looking. But the point is, good innovation can take time. And you can also get innovation wrong. The Trump game. Are we still playing that at Christmas? I don't think so. Who knows this brand, Colgate? What do? Just shout it out. Toothpaste. Would you say the Colgate guys are sitting there together making toothpaste and they think, here's an idea, let's create a new product? Lasagna. That is not a good innovation, is it? So, I'm going to finish on this quiz question to you all. Where do you think the most innovative countries are in the world? Just guess. China. Who said China? Cool. Just shout out countries. Shout out a country in the world, anywhere. Singapore. Nice, nice. Hold that thought. Ladies. Where? Korea. Good one. So, Belgium. Are the Belgians the most innovative country in the world? We will see. Ladies. Japan? Don't know. Just name a country. Come on, sir, you know there's... Netherlands? Who said Netherlands? Legoland, yeah, the Danish. Number one in innovation is... Anyone here from Switzerland? No. Sweden? You're not far from there, are you? Yeah. And number 3. I like doing this with the Americans because they're number 4. And whenever you're with Americans, they always go, America, obviously. And you go, actually, you're not. They're not. Here are, and Singapore, I don't know where you got that idea from, Singapore, but they are actually in the top 10. And where are the Belgians? And China? China will undoubtedly become one of the greatest innovators. At the moment, they tend to copy things, but once they know what to do, they do it well. This will change. The point the reason I ask this question is these countries are all typically open, educated, fairly free, but they believe in freedom and openness and discussion, and they invest a lot of time and money and effort in resources into education. And that, as a business, if you were running a business, that's how you have to think if you want to be an innovating business. I'll finish with one final thing, and this guy's quite interesting to look at. His name is Sinek. He's an American guy, actually he's a British guy, lives in the States. He says, any truly brilliant, innovating business needs to understand not what they do, but why they do it. Think about that. Most companies, if I ask these guys what they do, they'll tell me they make widgets or they do printing. It's not about what they do. It's about understanding why you do it. And you understand why you do it. Your team understands why you do it. Your customers understand why you do it. Everyone you touch in your environment understand why you do what you do. Apple are a good example of this. You go into an Apple store and they're all in their gear and they're really excited about the products. They really get it, don't they? Have you ever been in an Apple store? All of you must have been in Apple stores, surely. Yeah. It's about belief, it's about values, it's about understanding, trust, loyalty. You cannot work for a company where you don't trust each other. If you don't trust each other, what happens? You won't share knowledge, will you? So, really important. For successful, innovating business, you need to understand why you do what you do. And that even comes down to working as a team and I'm finishing anyway, and doing anything as a team. You need to get this bit right. Otherwise, you can't move forward. And I would say thank you to all of you for listening to me. I bet you're hungry, because I'm quite peckish. Hopefully, you might join me if you get another trip out in my show in Amsterdam, which is the 17th to the 19th of April. It's free. If any of you want to come to it, you can. And thank you for paying attention. Hopefully, you enjoyed it.